Yes, afternoon, sir. Another 5 minutes, I think Mr. Kari will be joining in. I have already
Okay.
told him
Yeah,
about
good afternoon. No issues.
this.
We do have time. Yeah.
How are you, sir? Can you hear me, sir? You're on mute.
Just 1 minute.
Yeah. Dr. Jitendra, Mr. Karia is here.
Yeah, Paresh Saab, good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Dr. Saab. How are you doing?
Good, sir. Thank you. All well. What about you?
Very well. Very well.
Great.
We had limited interaction during, the committee meeting.
Right.
If you know where, the
Yes,
first
I do remember.
up. So, here we are. We meet again today. Right.
I think we still have 5 minutes to go. We already have approximately 73 people logged in. I think we can start pretty much on time. Yeah.
Wonderful.
So the flow will be as I'm going to give a initial introduction. Then I will call Mr. Dr. Chandra to basically give the opening remarks, and then again I'll give a description about yourself as to what exactly has been your profile and how you have been taking Acquest further, and then you can start off with the presentation.
Right. Perfect.
Okay.
Perfect. So, yeah, I mean, my presentation will take about just 30 minutes. I've kept it short and brief at this point of time. I'm sure there will be a lot of questions, so we can have another 15, 20 minutes or more for the question answer session.
Surely.
We'll take it from there, how it goes.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we are streaming this live, right?
I'm just about to share the screen for your reference too.
Yeah. Okay.
Mr. Karia, I hope we have already gone with the paper of the talking points which is there for Dr. Jitendra as well. You're on mute, sir.
Yeah, I've gone through that. And, I've used the data. So I will be using some part of it, not everything, but some part of it in my presentation. Also, some numbers I will be talking about.
Fantastic.
I will be continuing from this,
Yeah, we have kept it very basic. Actually, we didn't want to really talk about how these guys can actually go and set up businesses, because that's something which you're going to, in which ways, give a presentation on.
Yeah. So my presentation will be on the basic requirements and more on the benefits.
Fantastic.
More on what are the kind of benefits I can get, why they should do it, and what are the basic requirements.
Yeah, and we have received a lot of questions regarding the specifically raising funds as a startup there. So that is something I'm going to ask you any which ways. I've received 3-4 questions regarding the same. So I've already pinned in for this. I think we can start there once the conference starts off.
Yeah.
Naveen sir is there as well.
Hi, Mr. Karia, how are you?
How are you?
Hey, good.
Good to see you again.
Please say now. Actually, it was on mic, sir. Please.
Yeah. Navinji, good evening. Good afternoon.
Check my video. I think there is some. Yes, sir. If you can say something.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you, Navinji. Good afternoon. How are you doing?
Good to see you, sir. Sorry, I have another webinar going on.
Right.
So maybe after 15-20 minutes, I'll join in.
Certainly.
In the meantime, Mayank and Dr. Jitendra are there, sir.
Certainly. No problem.
So good, sir. All the best for today, and then
right.
we'll connect again.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Thank you.
So we have just 1 minute to go, and with your permission, we can start in like another 1 minute.
Right, definitely.
Okay, so with the permission, if you can start. Great. I think you're on mute, sir. I wasn't able to hear you. If you can just unmute yourself once.
Yes.
Perfect.
Yes, we
Okay.
are all set.
Great. Okay, starting with the count of three. 3, 2, 1, go. Good afternoon to all delegates who have joined us live from the platform and our distinguished guest for the day, Mr. Paresh Karia and Dr. Jitendra Singh from PHDCCI. As I can see that there are more than 78 people who have joined us now, and we are excited to hear Mr. Paresh Karia, CEO Acquest Advisors, on the topic Startup in Canada, UK, and Europe, along with the permanent residency program. For the knowledge of our participants, I would also like to inform all the delegates that they can download the participation certificate on the platform itself through the button which is provided there. Before we actually call Mr. Karia and hear more about the startups in UK, Canada, as well as Europe, I would like to welcome Dr. Jitendra Singh to basically start with the inaugural session and give his opening remarks for the same. Mr. Dr. Jitendra Singh, over to you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Mayank. And at the outset, we are really thankful to Mr. Paresh Karia, CEO Acquest Advisors, to be our important partner in this very, very important edition in the virtual interactive session. And we have, in fact, many delegates joining us. I'm sure that most of the delegates will get a lot of insight in terms of, opening their ventures in any of these countries like Canada, UK, and Europe, along with the permanent residency. So at the outset, without any further ado, I'll start this discussion. And with this, good afternoon, all distinguished delegates and honored audience. On behalf of PhD Chamber of Commerce Industry, I would like to welcome you for this very important interactive session with Paresh Karia, CEO, Acquest Advisors for startup in Canada, UK, and Europe, along with permanent residency. First of all, please allow me to express my heartfelt appreciation to our sponsors, Acquest Advisors, for requesting their support in organizing this interactive session on much talked about subject in the current market scenario. And as we know, like when we talk of the startup, as per the definition, the broad definition goes that any company in the first stages of operation is a startups. And normally startups are founded by one or two founders or entrepreneurs who want to develop their product or service for which they believe that there is a market demand. They look out for some opportunity, they look out for some challenges in the marketplace and try to solve it out with some innovative product or service. And all these, companies, these startups, generally they start with high cost and they have very, very limited revenue. Most of these startups, they start with, they're in the bootstrap stage. So for this reason, they look for, variety of funding opportunities like angel investors, venture capitalists, and from other, different grants. And we know that there are many, different grants, different schemes, which is being given by different governments across the world to actually woo good startups in their own countries. And recently, like many of these startups in India, they have started, getting much increased attention. There's a lot of traction among these startups, particularly the tech startups. And as you know, every day the number of startups in India is growing. As of date, there are somewhere close to 62,000 registered startups with DPIIT. And if we talk of non-registered DPIIT startups, it may run in few lakhs. And India, as we know, that it has emerged as the third largest startup ecosystem in the world after US and China. At the pace of growth which we are showing is it actually, it's going to foresee that probably we may, actually quadruple this strength in another 1 year or so. And when you talk of unicorns, in fact, despite COVID, in the last year itself, we had actually added 41 unicorns to our list. Right now, the number is close to 83. And in terms of NASSCOM and Zinova study, the startups has raised somewhere close to $24.1 billion US dollars in 2021, which is a twofold increase over pre-COVID-19 levels. And also, according to one study, which is the Indian Tech Startup Ecosystem, the Year of Titans, more than 2,250 startups they've added in 2021. So this actually showcases that how much work is being done in this space. And normally it is said that more than $6 billion have been raised via public markets with 11 startup IPOs in 2021. And some of the the opportunities that startups have, there is always an increased responsibility. There's a lot of flexibility, particularly with respect to legacy companies, wherein they take a lot of time to reinvent or to actually accept any change. But in startups, overnight they can actually experiment something and immediately come with a new product or service. But at the same time, there are some problems or challenges associated with startups, like the risk of failure is always there. If you see the stats, normally it is said that out of 10, only it is the 2 startups that flourish. Normally eight see their own death. There is a lot of competitive business environment, and also we know there are a lot of business opportunities that is yet to be explored in the market in India as well as abroad. So through this webinar, the idea is basically to understand the nuances of setting up the startup entrepreneurship models in Canada, UK, and Europe. And we also recommend from PhD Chamber that all our delegates, they need to do due diligence before making any kind of investment or going for any decision. And without this, now not taking much time, I would like to welcome again once Mr. Paresh Karia. Thank you very much for being with us, and look forward to a very, very fruitful deliberation. So once again, I welcome each and everyone on this platform. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Jitendra, for the insight and setting the tone for the interactive session. Moving further, I'll give just a brief about Mr. Karia. Mr. Paresh Karia, CEO, Acquest Advisors, is a chartered accountant with over 15 years of experience in banking, investment advisory, immigration, and real estate. In the past, he has worked with renowned banks like HDFC Bank, ICICI Bank, ABN AMRO, and private banking. Acquest Advisor is an immigration advisory firm specializing in business immigration and residency and citizenship by investment programs offered by the governments of America and European countries. The firm provides tailor-made immigration solutions to HNIs, business owners, and startup entrepreneurs after intensive discussion and a deep understanding of the circumstances and needs. Acquest is based out of Mumbai, the financial capital of India, and has offices across locations. The firm has an in-house team of experts and a network of professionals, renowned attorneys, bankers, chartered accountants, regional centers, developers, fund managers, business sellers, etc., to offer comprehensive immigration solutions. Acquest provides end-to-end services to the clients, from planning the source of funds, selecting the right investment vehicle like project, property, or business, preparation of business plans, startup funding, fund remittance, etc., and thereby hand-holding them throughout the immigration process. So this is the brief of Mr. Karia. He has worked extensively in this industry, and we are thankful for him for being part of all the additions that we do with regards to the residency and citizenship events too. Startup has been something quite an interesting affair. We have been in discussion for quite some time, and we would love to hear him as to how we can proceed with our startup in Canada, Europe, and UK to go further. So I would like to invite Mr. Paresh on board now. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Jitendra and Mayank, for that wonderful introduction and kind words. And also thank you to the senior leadership team at PHDCCI for giving us this opportunity today. Well, PHDCCI has been doing a wonderful job of giving global exposure to Indian entrepreneurs and HNIs, and thereby facilitating interaction with the global community. And we are proud to be associated with PHDCCI in this endeavor. Now, friends, coming back to today's discussion, you would have heard from Dr. Jitendra, and he had shared some very important data about how the startup community is growing in India. The ecosystem is growing. We have all heard about, and we are seeing startup is the buzzword. And, lot of Indian entrepreneurs have become successful today and have launched their startups successfully. Now, having established their business in India, the aspirations of Indian startups are growing and they want to move global. So we are here to facilitate startups to go global and not only take their business, but also take their families overseas through the immigration route. So let me start with my, today's session and for discussion. Mayank, can you see it in the
So it's saying it has started the screen sharing, but we're yet to see the screen as such.
Okay. Can you see it now, Mayank?
No, so if you can just go back and share it again, sir.
Yeah, just let me go back.
Yeah, please unshare the screen and share again.
Yes, I'm just trying that. I think the screen has frozen.
Yeah, I think we're back. I think if you can just share again. I think it's due to the technical issue. I think there is some issue with the internet.
Yeah, there is some issue with the internet. My computer is hanging. Just give me a minute, Mayank.
Surely.
Yeah.
Mayank, do you have a copy of presentation?
Not as yet, sir. I think Mr. Karia, if you can just share that, I can immediately share it on the screen.
I think there's bandwidth issue on
Yes,
Mr.
yes.
Karia's side because his screen is also right now static.
So for the audience specifically, I would like to mention that Mr. Karia has been extensively working in the residency and citizenship sector along with the startup funding. He has been part of all the editions of the Global Residency and Citizenship Expo that we have organized so far. There have been 4 editions that we have already concluded. So it has been a great affair to work with him because he has knowledge of different investment programs like the Caribbean, UK, then of course Canada is one of them, the prime one to go with. Majority of Indians prefer to go to Canada, and then UK is the second most preferred after Canada to go with. And then of course he has been also pushing a lot of programs for the Portugal market, Cyprus, Malta, as well as the Caribbean market. So it has been an important sector in terms of the investments going out from India too. Moving on, I think today's topic, since it is meant for the startup community, it is important to understand that startup comes with a lot of pros and cons. So one has to be quite judicious while doing any kind of investment or starting with the bootstrap funding. When we say bootstrap in a normal layman's language, it is basically the amount to which one puts himself to start a business. So from that perspective, there are many ways a startup can actually flourish in the market. Many of the startups also start ahead with the white label branding in terms of the product, where they actually manufacture the product themselves and they give it to a bigger supplier where they put their own branding and then move things further. So keeping that in mind, I would also like to understand more about a little bit of startup since till the time Mr. Karia is back from Dr. Jitendra as well. Please. Yes, sir, you are on mute.
Yeah. Thank you, Mayank. In fact, right now we are in very interesting time if we see the startup ecosystem, particularly in India. And in terms of the ecosystem that is being provided by, Indian government and also like many other governments also. One is the self-certification, which is one of the best things wherein there is a self-compliance under 3 environmental and 6 labor laws, which is again a big step for ease of doing business. There's also an income tax exemption for 3 consecutive years and also exemptions on capital gains and investments above fair market value. And right now that is also extended by 1 year, which was announced by Honorable Finance Minister in this budget. Another important government schemes and benefits right now is the easy winding up of the company. So this can be done within 90 days under the IBC 2016 Act. There is also a patent application and IPR protection, and there is a fast tracking of patents. Up to 80% rebate is being given in filing patents. Also, right now there are many easier public procurement norms, and the startup can get listed as the seller to the government and get benefit from exemptions on EMD, which is the earnest money deposited, and also the minimum requirement in terms of compliances for going for tenders or RFP routes. And in terms of there are many tools and different things which is being given by many of the state startups. And in terms of, we also have a startup benefit scheme, wherein in terms of there is also a SIDBI fund of funds, in which this is a fund for investment into startups through alternate investment funds. And most of these schemes, they're all given in the websites or different state government startup schemes. And right now, as I told you, we are in very interesting time, and the type of unicorns that we are getting right now means, I think every week right now, we read in these business letters in terms of new unicorns being formed every week. So this is a great sign. This actually shows our tech prowess, and also in terms of the risk taking ability of our youth. And if you see in terms of the tech space right now, since we are in the era of Industry 4.0, which is being accepted by many enterprises. So many tech startups, particularly in the area of cloud computing, in the area of 3D printing, then augmented reality, virtual reality, many such startups, they're already, they are booming up. And also in terms of the startups, they're all sector agnostic. When I'm talking of tech, it's not only, the startups in AI or IoT space. There are startups in somewhere close to 57 different industrial sectors. And if we see, the majority of them, around 13%, they are normally from the IT services, 9% are in healthcare and life sciences, 7% are in education space, 5% in professional and commercial services, and 5% in agriculture, and another 5% in food and beverages. So also in terms of the type of traction our startups is getting, the stats shows everything. There is 9x increase in number of investors, and 7x increase in total funding of startups, and also 7x increase in number of incubators. And above all, apart from that we are flourishing as a unicorns in India, at the same times our startups are also generating large scale employment opportunity for the youth. So this is again, they are in many different sunrise sectors, and it is definitely a good news for us. And if we see, like right now, India is home to somewhere close to 88 unicorns. And as we all know, that any startup that attains the valuation of $1 billion becomes a unicorn. And the total valuation of this 88 unicorns is somewhere close to 296 billion US dollars. So this is the type of pitch our unicorns are creating for foreign investors. The figures shows of itself. And in terms of investment thing, there are different active investors. Sequoia is one of the most active investors in Indian unicorns. This is followed by Tiger Global Management, SL, and also SoftBank. And also right now, what we have seen, there has been a lot of shift in terms of the way of funding that normally startups used to get. So now actually startups are now looking for some alternate routes, like crowdfunding, particularly startups who are in social or in development sector space. There are also revenue-based funding. There's a venture debt funding. There are also bank loans. And in fact, what we have seen, that since the onset of COVID-19, many unconventional trends, they have been observed in these new entries to the unicorn club without an even $1 billion ticket size investment. So these are again some of the we are right now in very, very interesting times of history. The type of traction our startups are getting, this is never seen before.
Thank you so much, Dr. Jitendra. I think
Okay.
Mr. Karia is back
Yeah.
and online now. And
Yeah.
thank you so much for the insight, Dr. Chinder. I think you are the encyclopedia when it comes to startups. And it's really, really lovely to hear you as well on the domestic front too. So I think, Mr. Karia, if you're online, we can start with the presentation.
Yes, can you hear me? Yeah.
Yes, loud and clear, sir.
Yes, yes. Sorry about the technical glitch. We had some issue with the laptop. You're right. So, a little bit about ourselves before we start the presentation. Like Mike mentioned, we are an immigration advisory firm based out of Mumbai, having pan-India presence. And we specialize in business immigration. Unlike other consultants, our focus is purely on business and investment-based immigration. This comes from my background as an investment advisor and a banker. We understand businesses, we understand investments, and that's why we are focusing only on this aspects. Mayank has already said, Dr. Jatinder has spoken about me, so I will skip this. Now let's move quickly. Let us see what are the key trends which are emerging in recent times. We are seeing these are the key trends, 3 key trends which we have seen in the last few years. One is innovation leading to digitization. We are all living in a digital world today, especially post-COVID. COVID has accelerated digitization. Of course, in India, we have been lucky. Digitization was happening even earlier. We had the UPI payment, online payment system, the fintech has been buzzing in India, but COVID has further accelerated it. And today, all of us, digitization is a part of our daily life. And some of us are fortunate to have our businesses in this arena, and we have benefited a lot out of it. Another trend that we are seeing is towards entrepreneurship. Today, entrepreneurship is buzzing in India. Everybody wants to be an entrepreneur. Gone are the days earlier where people used to say that you complete your studies, take up a good job, and your life will be settled. Now, even families, even youngsters, even in rural areas, we are seeing entrepreneurship is being promoted. Even governments are promoting entrepreneurship in a big way. You would have seen at a local level in Delhi also. And the other trend that we are seeing is towards geographical diversification. COVID has taught us one thing, that it's not advisable to have all your eggs in one basket. You need to spread your businesses, you need to spread your investments. We all know that, during COVID, different countries were affected by COVID in different ways, and different countries have managed it in a different way. So it makes sense for us to have a presence overseas and diversify our business geographically. So these are the key trends that we have seen in the recent times in the last 2-3 years. Now let us see what is happening on the Indian startup scenario. Dr. Jatinder has shared a lot of data, and he has a lot of information on the startups. But what are the key things that we have seen? That the Indian ecosystem, startup ecosystem, has seen an explosive growth. And today we are among the top 2-3 ecosystems in the world. Both, government as well as private initiatives have played a very important role in promoting the Indian startup system. We have seen a phenomenal growth in startups over the last 5 years. 5 years back, we had just a handful of notable startups, and today we have more than 50,000 startups, recognized startups in our system. And they have raised tons and tons of money. More than $60 billion have been raised by these startups over the last few years. And the most notable trend in the last couple of years is the rise of unicorns, companies with market capitalization of more than $1 billion. So India has seen almost 3, unicorns coming every year. And now in this year, we are going to see, unicorns are the ones emerging unicorns. And we'll see a lot of more unicorns coming in the year 2022. So Indian startup system is exploding. There are a lot of benefits available, both from the government and from the private sector. So the question one may ask is, why should one go global when there is so much happening in India? Well, there are 2 broad themes why one should go global. The first theme is, of course, we Indians, as we become more and more confident, as we set up a business in India, we are successfully launching over here, we have global aspirations also. We have seen companies, all of you are familiar with companies like Zomato, Byju's, Oyo Rooms, Ola. These are all Indian startups which have gone global and now become not only unicorns, but global startup companies. They have presence across countries like Middle East, Far East, Europe, US, North America, etc. Also, there was a recent survey done about a couple of months back, where the startups were asked, certain questions, and 42% of these startups are looking at going global, expanding globally in the year 2022, right? Like, what are the advantages of going global? You get international recognition, there is risk diversification, you have access to talent as well as technology, you get partnership, mentorship. There are people outside who would be happy to be associated with you and help you grow the business. And of course, once you go global, you can enjoy a better lifestyle with your family. So these are some of the reasons why Indian startups should look at expanding globally. Along with this, there are some other reasons. There is another theme. The Indian startup space is getting very crowded. We all know we are a nation of 1.3 billion people. 130 billion people. And, there is a lot of competition in our country. There are more and more startups coming up. All the startups are competing for the mind share of the investors, and the investors are becoming more selective now. There are more options to choose from. Not only are there more startups to choose from, but the startups which have raised funds and established themselves, they are also competing with the other startups for the funds. So more and more Indian competitive market, startup market is getting more and more competitive. Hence, we need to look at going global. We all know the situation, right? In India, we have very good educational institutions like IIM, IITs, and various other institutions. But it's so difficult to get admission. There is so much of competition. It is so difficult to get admission into these institutions that very few people are able to qualify. Hence, a lot of students are looking at migrating or going overseas for their studies. Similarly, in India, there are so many startups. They are all competing, and opportunity may not be there for all of them. But overseas, there are opportunities for a wide range of startups, so they can look at going overseas and capturing the market over there. Now, let us look at what is happening globally. Post-COVID, the scenario has changed, and more countries are encouraging entrepreneurs to set up new business because they see that by setting up new business, they can create more jobs and make up for whatever loss of jobs and other hit their economy is taken on account of COVID. So more and more, countries are rolling out plans to attract entrepreneurs to come to their country, invest money, set up business, and create jobs. What is the scenario with Indian startups? Well, Indian startups, after having successfully, established themselves in India, are getting a lot of global attention. All these companies that we mentioned earlier, Zomato, Oyo, Ola, they are all on the global arena, and because of them, the branding, the positioning of Indian startups and Indian entrepreneurs has changed in the global market. We all know that Indian techies are in good demand, and there is a lot of attraction taking place. A lot of countries are vying for Indian techies. Countries like Canada, UK, Netherlands, France, Portugal, etc. are competing with each other to attract entrepreneur talent. They are not only offering things like funding, mentoring, government benefits and subsidies, but now they are also offering permanent residency to these entrepreneurs so they can not only attract them, but retain them in their country. So there is a red carpet being laid out for Indian entrepreneurs who want to go abroad. Now, let us look at how you can get more out of your business. You have successfully established your business, you have raised money, you have set up the startup. Now, how can you use your startup to take your business and family global? All right. So these are the countries which we are going to talk about more in detail. You have countries like Canada, UK, etc., which provide startup visa, and this visa will help you in taking your business there and setting up your business and getting permanent residency in these countries. Let's look at each one of them in detail. Now, Canada has been running a startup visa program for quite some time, and this program has become very, very popular, especially among Indians over the last 2-3 years. There are n number of entrepreneurs who have been looking at migrating to Canada through this route. We have helped many startup companies to move to Canada through this route. Under this route, this is a very, very specialized kind of a visa, which is available to entrepreneurs having innovative ideas and who want to set up their business in Canada and want to expand globally from there. Now, what are the key features of this particular type of visa or program? It is one of the quickest way under the business immigration plan to move to Canada. For those of you who would have explored opportunities of moving to Canada earlier, you know that there are multiple plans, but all these plans involve meeting certain point requirement. You need to have certain qualifications, you need to have certain kind of experience, the language test, etc., and get certain points. And only after you manage to get the points, you can migrate to Canada. Under this program, there is no requirement. There is no such requirement of any points. Again, under this program, you can go and settle anywhere in Canada, in any part of Canada. Many other business immigration programs are run by the local provinces over there, which means that you have to go to that particular province. You may have to go to a place like, let's say, Saskatchewan or Manitoba, which are less developed, and settle over there. But under this program, you can go and settle in Toronto, Vancouver, Montreal, any big city in Canada that you want. You can also take your family and your children under 22 years of age. So Canada is quite liberal in the sense. Most of the other countries, you can take children only up to 18 years of age or 19 years of age. But in Canada, you can take your children who are up to 22 years of age. You can move to Canada, in as early as 6 months. So while your PR application may take about 12 to 18 months, you can move there earlier on a work permit. And this is the only program where you can immediately file for your PR while being in India. It doesn't require you to move to Canada first, work over there, meet certain conditions, and then file for PR. While sitting in India, you can contribute to your business in Canada and you can still file for your PR. And once you get your PR, you can move there with certainty. The other program which is quite popular is the UK Innovator Visa. The UK Innovator Visa has been launched recently in March 2019, and it has become popular over the last 1 year. There are so many successful cases where we have seen people have filed for this visa and they've already moved over there. It is one of the fastest way of moving overseas. You can get your visa and complete the entire process in just about 3 months. Now, this is a pathway. UK also has a startup visa program, which is different from the Innovator Visa program. The startup visa program is aimed more at new entrepreneurs, people who have just completed their studies, people who are in their 20s, young people with innovative ideas. They can just move under the startup visa program to UK and set up their business. But under that program, it takes you slightly longer to get permanent residency. The Innovator Visa program is targeted more at established businessmen and entrepreneurs who already have a track record and having successfully set up the business. Now you want to expand globally. So this is the fastest way of moving to UK and getting a PR over there. You can get PR under this process in 3 years, whereas under any other program, it could take you 5 years, 10 years, or even more. So this program allows you to set up your business in UK. You can move there with your family. Your children can study there. They can get education benefits. You get healthcare benefits. You can apply for PR after 3 years, and you can ultimately get UK citizenship as well. Europe is another country where we have seen a lot of interest coming from our clients who want to expand the business to Europe. And in Europe, there are a lot of countries. It's not just one or two, but a host of countries which are attracting entrepreneurs through the startup visa or the Innovator Visa program. You have countries, and what is notable is that Europe is noted for ease of doing business. It's very easy for you to set up business over there and move there with your family. For example, in case of Netherlands, all you have to do is put up a business plan, submit it, get it approved by the relevant endorsing body, and then you can move there and set up your business. This visa is initially available for 1 year, but after 1 year, you can apply for the long-term visa as an entrepreneur. However, Netherlands is a very costly place. It's very expensive to stay there and live there. So those of you who are looking at more affordable options. Portugal is another very good country where not only the cost of setting up business is low, but also the cost of living is very low. And it has fantastic weather, and it has been encouraging a lot of innovations. A lot of tech companies are now moving to Portugal. In fact, in the month of November, Portugal had organized a a global web summit, which had attracted a lot of people from all over the world. And Portugal is trying to position itself as the tech hub of Europe. France, again, is known for its innovation and technology. It also offers a startup visa program. Under this program, you need to, again, submit your business plan to relevant authorities, get their approval, and then you can get a startup visa and stay there for 4 years. After 4 years, you can apply for permanent residency. Now, good thing about the France, startup visa program is that you can apply as a group. If you are 2 or 3 people in the group together as entrepreneurs, then you can set up this company and all of you can be eligible for the startup visa over there. Denmark, again, a very good country for the startup. It's very easy to do business over there and get a startup visa over there. Ireland is another country which is attracting a lot of startups. One of the reasons is because of the English language. It is one of the few. Ireland, as you know, is an English-speaking country, and it is part of European Union now. So it is not only connected with Europe, it is also connected with UK. And you can freely move to UK as well as Europe if you are, a resident of Ireland. However, the process of, getting startup visa in Ireland is little restrictive. The requirement there are a lot of conditions that you need to meet with regard to creating minimum number of jobs, minimum turnover, minimum investment, etc. So, those of you, of course, who can meet these conditions and who would like to capture the UK as well as European market, Ireland would be an ideal option for you. Now, due to paucity of time, I'm not discussing the exact requirements of each and every country. This is just to give you a broad idea of what are the options available to you. If any one of you want to know in detail what are the exact requirements and conditions, we will be happy to do a one-to-one meeting with you and discuss in detail. This will be a long session which may go on for more than an hour. So I will be happy to schedule a meeting with you. My details will be available from Mayank and PHDCCI. You can schedule a meeting anytime you want with me. Now let us look at what are the general benefits of moving overseas. The first and foremost advantage is, of course, you have a startup entity in overseas market. You become a part of the coveted startup club. There are very few, all the startups are being looked at differently compared to any other ordinary business. They enjoy certain benefits. They have certain privileges. And once you have a startup, a company which is recognized as a startup in an international market, you get access to all these benefits and privileges. One of them is, of course, raising funds. A lot of you I've seen have questions on how you can raise funds. So once you get tagged as a startup company, you can raise funds very easily. You can raise debt and equity. We'll talk more about this in detail in the subsequent slide. You get global recognition. Now, we have a lot of clients who have been coming to us who want to set up the business overseas because they want a global recognition. Once they have an entity in, let's say, a UK or in North America or in Europe, and then they are able to present this entity. Through this entity, they are able to present and position themselves well in the international market and not only attract more customers, but also more business partners, as well as attract funds. You also get access to a very supportive startup ecosystem in these countries. And again, a lot of people are looking at government benefits. So yes, once you are recognized as a startup, you can get access to a lot of government benefits. We'll talk more about this in detail in the subsequent slides. Now let us look at the funding side. What are the benefits that are available to you? You will get funding not only from the government, but also from the private entities. Right? And this funding can be by way of equity as well as debt. When it comes to equity, we can help you in getting co-founders who are ready to invest in your business and provide you seed capital. We can also, help you in accessing funds from angel investors as well as venture capital funds in all these countries. When it comes to debt funding, you can raise funds from government agencies, from banks, from institutions, as well as private equity funds on very attractive terms. The interest rates overseas are very, very attractive. You'll be surprised you can get interest at 2% or even less from these countries. What are the government benefits? A lot of questions are being asked on the government benefits. So let us look at that. The first thing is you can get subsidized loan from government or government agencies. And there are so many government benefits available. I was just doing a study on, Canada, benefits available in Canada. And I was surprised to find that there are more than 100 different type of programs being run by the federal government as well as the provincial government in Canada. We all know that Canada is a federal structure. You have a federal government, which is a central government, and you have different provinces or states which also run their own individual, startup benefits programs. So there are more than 100 such programs available, and you need to have access to the right people over there to take the benefits of the right programs. You get guarantees from the government. Many government or government agencies are willing to give you guarantee for the raising the debt. This will, of course, bring down your cost of raising debt. You get wage subsidies. We had seen this during the COVID time where the governments were providing wage subsidies. If you're continuing your business and you are paying salaries to your employees, then you are getting wage subsidies from government for paying this salaries. You are getting tax credits and innovation credits. For example, in case of UK, there is an innovation credit and tax credit which is available. If you're going to spend, let's say, £10,000 on doing some R&D, and you can get tax write-offs of £20,000 or even more. Apart from this financial benefits, there are lots of other non-financial benefits available. For example, training. Government runs training programs. You can participate in them and upgrade your skills. There are networking opportunities available, so many events, so many conferences, not only at local level, but also at global level. You can participate in these events, you can network, you can meet other entrepreneurs, you can meet potential customers, investors, and business partners. The other benefit available is internship. You can hire talented people from universities in these countries at very attractive terms, and you will get global talent available to work with you at very low cost. Now let us look at, we have seen government benefits, we have seen financial benefits. Let us look at what are the benefits available to you as an individual and to your family as a whole. The first benefit is you get permanent residence in this country, which means you can stay in that country for as long as you want. Your family, the schools and universities, most of the schools, public schools in this country provide you free education. And if you're looking at going to college or universities for higher education, then you'll end up paying almost 1/4 or 1/5 of what an international student would pay for studying in these colleges and universities. So there is substantial savings and advantages on the education front. Healthcare, we all know healthcare has become very important, especially in a post-COVID scenario. And most of this, developed countries in North America, Europe, UK, they have public healthcare system whereby you can get access to healthcare for free. For example, when we talk about Canada, in case of Canada, the healthcare is completely free. When you walk into a hospital or a clinic, you don't have to pay anything to the doctors. The hospital will directly bill the government. You get free treatment over there. Then, of course, there is safety, security, and stability in a developed country. And this is very important. And times like this, we have seen in many countries, there have been political turmoil. We have seen what is happening in China, how China is clamping down on entrepreneurs. So when you move to a more developed country like this, you can have more safety, security, and stability for your family. And of course, enjoying a high quality life in this country. So I'm sure all of you would like to enjoy these benefits. Now, let us look at general requirement. Like I mentioned earlier, each of the programs have specific requirements, which we'll be happy to discuss with you on a one-to-one basis. But generally, the requirements, let us look at what are the common requirements. The first requirement is that you need to have an innovative business. Now, what is innovative business? We have many clients who are coming to us. They have businesses in India and they are looking at expanding globally. But the first question they come in and ask us is, what is innovative business? I'm running a plain vanilla business. I don't have any innovation in my business. So most of those people are looking at innovation in a very restrictive terms. When it comes to innovation, when the first thing that comes to our mind is, oh, it will be some technology-driven business, or it will be some app, or it will be some, high-end gadget, or it could be some very, very specific kind of a formula or something like that. Well, no, friends. In overseas market, in global market, innovation is looked at in a very, very broad way. It does not necessarily mean it has to be very, very unique and only you should have it. It is looked at in a much wider way. For example, it not necessarily mean that it has to have some technological connections. It could be that you are doing your business processes different, or your product position, product formulation is different, or your delivery, your product is the same, but the way you are delivering the product, the way you are, marketing the product is different. Like, for example, if you are making a paint, you're manufacturing, let's say you are in a paint industry, you're making a particular kind of a paint. Now, if you have some kind of innovation in your paint, if you have some combination, some formula, some chemicals, you are putting in your paint, which makes it more eco-friendly, or it makes it, faster, the process is faster, you can complete the painting much faster. The normal painting process would take about 7 days. But if through your painting process, if you can complete it in about 3 days, then that itself is considered as an innovation. If your paint is more eco-friendly, then it can be considered as an innovation. What is important thing is that you need to show that you are different and there are benefits of being different, and you should be in a position to patent that particular process or technology, right? The other criteria is we have a lot of people who are coming to us saying that, oh, I have a very innovative idea, but this is idea only on the paper. It has not been actually attempted or tried and tested. So it's just merely having an idea in your mind will not do. You need to show that, you have tried it. There has been a proof of concept, that there's a minimum viable product available, which has been tried and tested. If you have an app, then that app has been launched and you have got some people who are using the app, right? So there has to be some kind of proof of concept available. This should not be simply an idea in your mind or on the paper. Second thing is, of course, as a businessman, we know that any business that we are going to set up, it has to be economically viable. It has to be practical. You should have done your research in the market and seen that this product is going to run successfully in the overseas market. And this is where we will help you with all the research that is required. The product has to be globally scalable. There is no point in making a product for a local market. The product has to be globally scalable. You should be able to take it to other countries from that. You need to have a very solid business plan. And this business plan should be available, achievable based on your resources and your experience. It should not be that the business plan is looking good on paper, but you do not have the right kind of experience, or you don't have the right kind of resources to back it. So you need to prepare a good plan backed by adequate resources and experience. And most of these programs require that you present your business plan to a government-appointed authority, and this authority or entity will approve your business plan. Getting that approval from the right entity is the key in getting your business set up over there and getting the visa to move there. And also, you need to have some amount of money as an initial investment amount. Of course, we'll be helping you in raising funds overseas, but first, you need to be committed to your business. You need to put your money where your mouth is. So you need to put some investment to show your commitment to the business. Right? Now, let us see how we can help you. What kind of people are approaching us and how we can help them. Let's say you are an entrepreneur with an innovative business, and your primary objective is to take your business global. Your secondary objective could be family immigration. So the basic requirement over here is you need to have an innovative business with some kind of a track record. The investment required over here could be as low as 30 lakhs, or it could go up to 150 lakhs. And the time frame could be about 3 to 6 months. in 3 to 6 months, you could move to UK, Europe, or Canada under the startup visa program. Now, we have a lot of people under this category approaching us with innovative business, and we have helped them to take their business to Canada, to UK, etc. The other category of people, we are being approached by a lot of people who say that they do not have innovative business. They are running a conventional, traditional business. It could be a manufacturing business, it could be a distribution business, logistic business, etc. So how can we help you in moving overseas? Well, we can look into your business. It's not necessarily, like I mentioned earlier, innovative business means that there has to be some amount of technology, or there has to be app or gadget involved. Even a change in the process, even a change in the formulation can be considered as an innovation. So we can help you in identifying the innovative element in your business, and we can extrapolate it and make your business innovative. We also have investors, people who are investors who want to invest in innovative business and who would like to move abroad. They don't want to play a very active role. They just want to support, entrepreneurs with innovative ideas and guide them and mentor them and move overseas on the startup visa. So yes, we can help such people also in moving overseas. So all categories of people, entrepreneurs with innovative ideas, entrepreneurs with traditional business, or investors who want to move abroad and be associated with a new innovative business overseas and get permanent residency, we can cater to all of them. Now, how can we help you? The first thing is we can help you in evaluating your business and check your eligibility. We have helped so many business migrate overseas. We understand what is the requirement overseas. At the same time, being in India, we understand what are the business situation in India, what are the requirements of the entrepreneurs in India, what are their, what are the key requirements, and we are able to bridge between their overseas requirement as well as Indian situation, and we are able to bridge this gap and help businesses migrate overseas. We'll assist you in preparing your pitch deck, business plan. These are some very important things. We have a lot of entrepreneurs with very good ideas, but when it comes to making business plans, when it comes to making pitch decks and presentations, they need some help, and that's where we pitch in. We can help you in preparing the business plans and train you in how to present your business ideas to investors, to incubators, business accelerators, etc., and get your businesses approved. We also help you in incorporating the company, be it partnership firm, be it LLP, be it, in a private limited company. We'll help you in setting up these companies overseas. We have access to, corporate lawyers who will help you in drafting various agreements, shareholders agreements, MOU, etc., and establishing the entity over there. And most importantly, we help you in getting endorsement from the relevant bodies. We work with a lot of endorsing bodies in all these countries, and we have very good relationship with them. And to that extent that we can give you a guarantee that if we are not able to get you endorsement from the endorsing body, we'll refund you your money. So we are very confident when we take up an assignment. We are very selective. We are only going to take up businesses or proposals which we feel will fly off with, which meet the requirements and which are genuine businesses and they meet the requirements. And then we give a guarantee that, yes, we'll be able to secure the endorsement as well as the startup visa for you. We'll also help you in getting business incubators and mentoring. When you are setting up your business overseas, it's not easy. You need to understand the local laws. You need to understand the local market. You need to position yourself over there. So we have our business incubators overseas who will mentor you, who will partner with you, and who will guide you throughout the process. And of course, will help you in applying for the visa and getting permanent residency. So why clients come to us? Why people come to us? I mean, you can visit our website and you can see the testimonials and reviews shared by our clients, and you'll get to know why they're coming to us. But briefly, just to sum it up, one reason people find is our approach is quite professionals. We are a group of qualified professionals with experience in banking, finance, taxation, and entrepreneurship. So we can offer you whatever a business will need to go overseas, not only from Indian context, but also from global context. we have a deep understanding of startups. We have been dealing with startup entrepreneurs for quite some time. We have dealt with hundreds of entrepreneurs. We interact with them on daily basis. We understand their problems. We understand their strengths, restrictions, etc. And we are able to then provide them solutions which will address their requirement. Of course, another reason why people come to us is because of our global connections. We have been operating in the space for quite some time, and we have built up connections in all these countries with, with incubators, with investors, with government agencies, etc. And through our connections, we are able to provide solutions to their problems. Last and not the least, we have genuine desire to help entrepreneurs. We ourselves, we are entrepreneurs. I have promoted companies overseas myself, and we are genuine desire to see that Indian entrepreneurs grow, not only in local market. There are a lot of people over here in the local market to help you, but we are here to take you global. We would like to see Indian entrepreneurs capture the global market and make India shine overseas. So that is a reason why, people, we identify ourselves and people come to us. So friends, with that, I would like to end my presentation. It was a short presentation. Like I said, we could have gone on and on, but each country, each case is very specific. So for specific, queries, we can always set up one-to-one meeting. But for now, I will be happy to take any questions that you may have. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Paresh Karia. It was a really informative presentation, and I think you have touched all the major aspects of setting up of your own startup in Canada, UK, and Europe, to be precise. So moving further, in fact, we have received certain interesting questions. So I will start with the last one. I've also mailed the same to you for your better understanding. So basically, it says that what is the procedure to set up a retail general store, grocery or stationery shop, handicraft store, etc., in Europe, UK, or Canada, so that I could sell the Indian-made or manufactured products there?
Right. So each of these countries has different requirements. If you want to set up your business in Canada, for instance, if you want to set up a store over there, then you will qualify under the, provincial programs. Under the provincial programs, you need to make up a business plan and submit it to, whatever product you want to set up. You need to make an investment of about 200,000 Canadian dollars, which is roughly 1.2 crores, plus other money for capital. So about 1.5 to 2 crores is sufficient enough for you to set up a business over there. However, the process of getting PR through this particular route will be longer, because first you need to get your business, submit your business plan, then you need to get the business plan approved by the particular province. You will have to wait and see which province is inviting you. It is, at the discretion of the province to call you if your business plan meets their requirement. And once you get the invitation from the province, you move there on a work permit, you set up your business, you sign a performance agreement over there, and you undertake to deliver certain performance. Once your performance agreement is accepted, you get a work permit, you move there, you start working over there and achieve whatever you have promised in the performance agreement. And you need to keep reporting it on a regular basis to the local government. After 1 year, 2 years, you have established your business and met your requirement, the local government will check that whether you have met what you have promised to do. And if they are satisfied, they will issue a nomination certificate. Based on that nomination certificate, you can apply for permanent residency.
Fantastic. A common question might be, say, for example, if I'm a startup and I'm into the pharma segment specifically, or
Yes.
maybe medical for that matter. So there are a lot of certifications which might be required for setting up a startup in Canada, UK, or for that matter in Europe. From that perspective, how Acquest can be part of it, and how can you actually handhold me to take things further?
Right. So we have been getting a lot of, inquiries from people from healthcare and pharma side. Well, as you know, it's not easy to meet all those requirements, whether it is Canada, Europe, or UK. You need to be compliant with a lot of things if you're launching a healthcare product. But if you're launching a product which is, for oral applications, we have guided many people. If you have an oral application product, not oral, if you have an application product which you apply on the skin, like cream, etc., then it is much easier to migrate over there. But if you are looking at formulations which are to be consumed, then it will be very difficult. The process will also take long, and you need to meet all the stringent requirements of FDA or Health Canada or whatever regulatory authority is concerned. So the process could take longer. If you want to, what we normally suggest is that under the startup visa program or the innovator program, you start with a basic product like an application product, which does not require any approval from the FDA. You launch that product over there, you patent that particular product, you move there. After establishing your product, start applying for all the other products, and at least you will have a presence over there, and you will better versed with the market, and you can get approvals for the other product much quicker.
Fantastic. Okay, as per the startup ecosystem around the world, we have natural strengths. For example, Vancouver is performing in edtech. It is world ranking is 15 as of now in the edtech startups. Estonia is performing in transportation with global ranking of about 11. So similarly, what in particular will be meant for UK and Europe in terms of the strengths for startups?
So strength for UK in particularly is known for fintech. London is a global capital market,
Absolutely.
financial market. So for fintech, I think Europe, UK is one of the best options. In Europe, different countries have different specialties. For example, Netherlands. Netherlands is known for agri-tech. It's an agriculture country, and they're promoting a lot on the agri-tech side. So Portugal, again, is another country which is focusing on solar energy and alternative energy. We have seen a lot of large businesses in this area coming up in Portugal. So each country has its USP.
Interesting. I think that will be an interesting affair if you could create some kind of a chart for the audience in terms of understanding as to which country is specifically meant for which startup in terms of the availability and the response also.
Certainly.
Yeah. So moving further, can you brief on the legalities of fundraising for a startup in Canada? For example, the pre-seed funding, seed funding, and Series A funding.
Well, this will take a lot of time in detail, but the fact is that raising funds in Canada is much, much easier. Money is easily available over there. You can raise funds from, individual investors, angel investors, venture capitals, depending upon which stage your business is. You can also get fund from a lot of government agencies. So rather than going for your, Series A, Series B, you can also tap into the government agencies. So you have to see, each province in Canada runs a specific program. There are some provinces which promote this fishery. There are some products which promote provinces which promote transportation. There are some which promote aeronautics and this kind of businesses. So you have to see in which industry you are located, see which is the provinces which is promoting that particular industry, and you can approach for the government program under that for the funding.
Interesting. Okay, this one is interesting actually. It says, can we engage a co-founder for setting up a startup in that respective country? Will it ease in paperwork also?
Yes, of course. If you have co-founders, it will ease up the paperwork. You can get co-founders from not only that country, you can take from other countries. If you have a co-founder from that particular country, then also it will help you a lot. You can get access to the local market, local intelligence. However, what we have seen when it comes to Canada is that a lot of people, rather than getting a co-founder in Canada, they take co-founder from India, so that there are funding available from India as well. You can take your friends, relatives, or other team members from here and set up the business in Canada. And the access to the local market can be provided through the business incubators, through the accelerators. So these are the professional agencies. Rather than depending on an individual in Canada, you can get access to professional agencies who can provide you all the local support that you need over there in a very professional way.
Fantastic. Okay, sustaining startup is a big issue, specifically at a foreign place. Do we have any kind of assistive services locally available in UK?
Yes, the screening is, like you said, is very, very, this you have to kind of, it's not up to everybody to, screen startups. That's the reason why even the government, when it comes to startup visa or the, innovator visa, in case of any other visa, it is the government officials which vet your application. But when it comes to startup visa, the government says that, look, we are not the experts on startup. We don't understand innovative business. So they have outsourced this particular task to bodies, professional bodies, which are the endorsing bodies or the, incubators, the business accelerators or some universities, research institutions which specialize in startup business, and they are the ones who are going to vet the business. They have got the skills to vet it. They will study your business. They will guide you what you need to do in order to meet the requirements. And only after this professional, bodies are satisfied, they will issue you a letter of support or the endorsement to qualify for the particular visa and move there.
Great. Okay. Another second last question is that many FTZs offer really good facilities for startups. Is there any such facilities available in Canada or UK?
Sorry, I missed the first part,
So
man.
many FTZs, free trade zones specifically offer a lot of facilities for startups as well in that particular segment. I
Right.
think then in that case, I personally feel those FTZs are catering to industries rather than startups. This question is a little twist in terms
Yeah.
of, but if you would like to still answer.
Yeah, but it's not necessarily FTZs, but yes, there are a lot of business accelerators, a lot of incubators, which are promoting businesses in these countries. Like UK is all for fintech that we discussed. So there will be a particular kind of a institution which will be promoting fintech. In Canada, it could be agri-tech, and not in Canada. In Netherlands, it is agri-tech. So there are specialized bodies which support specialized kind of businesses, in addition to the general benefits which are available.
Fantastic. Okay. Last one. If today, if I plan to start to have a startup in Ireland, what could possibly be the eligibility criteria? Also, what could be the first step to go with?
Yeah, the first step would be to prepare a business plan. And you need to prepare the business plan. You need to prepare the pitch deck. You need to present it to a business facilitator over there who will study your business plan. They will approve it. You need to make an investment of 50,000 euros to start with. Once you have started your business, then there are some other conditions that you have to meet. You need to employ minimum 10 people over there, and you need to achieve a turnover of 1 million euros. Of course, this is after a period of time. So you are given some time to meet these benchmarks.
Great. I think this brings us to the end of this interactive session. And any questions if you have with regards to any investments in Canada, UK, or Europe for that matter, please feel free to get back to us or Acquest advisors directly. The details are already available on the screen for you. And in case if you feel there are some questions which are still unanswered, please feel free to post your questions on the platform itself so that we can get back to you with the answers. Now, I would request Dr. Jitendra to give a vote of thanks.
Thank you, Mayank. In fact, we are indeed grateful to Mr. Rakesh Karia for sparing his time and making our delegates understand about the startup ecosystem if they want to, spread their tentacles abroad. And as rightly said by him, that there are a lot of things, a lot of offerings are there by different governments, by different nations. Until unless we get acquainted with all the legalities, all the compliances, we will be actually, hitting in the dark. So people like Mr. Paresh, they're the right people wherein we can take guidance and advice if we want to start our venture abroad. And through this session, we got to understand some of the nuts and bolts of startup, in these countries like Canada, UK, and Europe. And so seeing the questions like that were put across to Mr. Paresh, I'm sure that there must be a lot of other unquestioned answers also, which need actually answers from Mr. Paresh. And probably I request all delegates to kindly write to Mayank, or directly you can contact Acquest advisors for getting your queries resolved. And thank you very much, Mr. Paresh, and we look forward to such fruitful sessions in near future also. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Karia. Thank you. Thank you, audience, for staying with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.